So we are live on YouTube.
Welcome, everybody. So welcome, everyone. It's 6 o'clock. We're going to begin our meeting. This is our regular meeting of council. It's being live streamed again tonight electronically. So April 19th, 6 o'clock, we'll open our meeting. And if we can open our meeting with a moment of silence, please. Thank you, everyone. I do have a motion. It was moved by Councillor Carroll and seconded by Councillor Jennings that the regular meeting of council agenda dated April the 19th, 2022 be approved. All in favor? Okay, that's carried. Thank you. And I'll also remind everyone on council that if you do have any disclosure of interest, you can declare it now or anytime during the meeting. Seeing none, we'll continue. I think before I go on and before I go to 1D, I would like to say a huge thank you to everyone that was involved in our Easter celebration that we had down at Rosedale Hall. It was a huge success, and it was, I think, bigger than what any of us had ever imagined it might be. I think that also speaks volumes to where we're at with Rosedale Hall and our passion for the hall and our enthusiasm to have community events happen. It was obvious that we would, it is obvious to me that this would not have happened without a huge number of people being involved. And quite a large number of volunteers, our Recreation Culture Committee, our staff, our council, and basically everyone but myself, because as you know, I wasn't there. I was feeling quite ill and definitely did not want to pass anything on to anyone. But I was sitting at home here about a half a mile away, wishing I was there. And I just knew that everything was going to go really well. So we're going to be looking forward, obviously, to the next event. But it, like I said, it was just tremendous what happened, and I'm sure that none of us expected it to turn out the way it is. And there were many little things that happened and that people did that didn't have to happen. Someone told me that, for instance, that our public works staff went down there and smoothed out the road. It didn't have to happen, but it did. And after the fact, I went down and it looked great. So on behalf of everyone, I just want to thank everyone for all of the work. And we look forward to the next event. And I do think now, just as a reminder, I think I'll ask Ian or Jeff there on the committee. Is it Thursday night that we have the volunteer fire department doing our workshop? Is it Thursday night? So we'll remind everybody about that this Thursday night coming at Rosedale Hall. And what's the time again, is it?
I forget now.
Sorry.
It's 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Yeah. So we'll be looking forward to that and other events. So thanks to everybody. Yes, Ian.
Yeah, just on that note, thank you very much, Reeve. And obviously you were greatly missed at the event. We definitely couldn't use another pancake flipper. Thankfully, though, Karen and Jeff picked up all the slack. They did a lot of work. Claus, I don't know where he fell asleep, I think.
Yeah, right.
Just teasing
My
them.
best
Everybody worked out well, and it was a great success. But it is always better when we're all together. That's for sure, 100%. And you brought a really good point up, Reeve, about the public works people and the staff that we have that work with the municipality and how much they care about what the events that go on within the municipality. And it's nice to see that they went down and cleaned up the yard or the pavement and had it all nice and cleaned up and scraped and swept and all that kind of good things. And it's great to see. And I'm glad we put all that nice new equipment to good use, because everybody notices it. And those little things make all the difference.
Claus?
Yeah, thanks for the nice compliments, Reeve. Walking through the hall and watching everybody eat, there's a lot of smiling people, and that everybody seemed to be enjoying. It's just that Ian's got to stop looking out the window, the big long lineup from the door to the highway. And Jeff cheated. He brought a big electric mixer instead of mixing by hand.
I gotta save my wrist. You're chirping at me the whole time.
Yeah. You made an awful mess of that mixer. I hope you cleaned it up before you brought it home.
I think he was just trying to make up for my void.
Yeah.
It was Bill the Mixer. That was awesome. It was an awesome event for sure. Yeah.
That was great. But it was kind of scary. We looked out the window and saw a big lineup right to the road. Oh boy, we're in trouble. But we managed. We definitely managed.
Okay,
Who
and
would
on
have
to you, Karen.
could have fed 400 people pancakes and sausages and bacon and scrambled eggs at a Rosedale Hall. So with a bunch of amateur chefs like us. So it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Really. Almost
managed 5 hours.
Almost Guinness Book of World Records stuff.
Yeah. So Karen, you had your hand up there.
And definitely the Easter Bunny was a big hit with the kids. It was unbelievable, the little ones going, and there was one little one, it was like, the Easter Bunny was at my school this week even, and so it was definitely a huge success, and kudos to all, that's for sure.
Great, everybody. Okay, we're moving on then. We have a motion moved by Councillor Jennings and seconded by Councillor Straight that the minutes of the regular meeting of Council April 5th, 2022 be approved as circulated. All in favor? Thank you. Any business arising from those minutes? Seeing none, the next on our agenda is our delegation. And this delegation is going to be from the Merrickville Library Board. And I believe that we have Mary Kate with us.
Yes.
Yes, hi, Mary Kate. It's nice to see you again on the screen, and welcome. And I'm going to pass this part of the meeting over to you. You have a delegation. We try to keep it to 10 minutes. Thanks, Mary Kate.
I will try to do that. Is it possible for me to share my screen? Or okay,
Yeah.
because I have my annual report just called up here. So
Yeah, you can share your screen.
okay.
We've seen your annual report also on our agenda already.
Excellent. Okay, well that's good. Just it gives me something to look at while I'm chatting away. So is it up?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. Okay, so as you can see, we had we're back again. In spite of our hopes for 2021, COVID did not go away as quickly as we would have liked, in spite of our little vaccine here. So the library was in fact only able to be open for about 6 weeks of the first 6 months of 2021, which was kind of it was a problem for like in-person services or heavily in-person services like the library. But in spite of that, the board is pleased to say that the library continued to provide service throughout the year, and use has begun to rebound. You see our lots of little up arrows on our stats. Let's see, even during the shutdown, the library was able to do curbside delivery. We call it porch pickup for our users. They're able to request items through our online catalog, or they can call or email and request a customized selection by staff. This is extremely popular. You can see some little girls who were very pleased with the books they got there. But as you can see from this other picture, people were very excited to get back to the library when we were able to open up. Using Zoom, we were able to have a lot of our programs online, are off the shelf. We had our art group was meeting, and the book clubs as well. We were also later in the year, once things reopened, we were able to do proof of vaccination, print those out in QR codes for people, which was very popular with people who are a little bit less tech savvy and did not have smartphones. It's difficult to connect with the kids during the pandemic, but we had some take-home crafts. Those guys are really adorable. They live next door to me. And we also had stories online on Friday mornings. We had a computer animation workshop and a chemistry workshop during our summer program. Our online resources were very popular. Our Overdrive, it did a big jump in 2020, but went up again by another 8% in 2021. Our Canopy film streaming went up by 51% in 2021. And the community, Miracle Wolfer Community Fund made a donation to pay for our Overdrive subscription during 2021, which was greatly appreciated particularly by our friends of the library group. And we were also able to offer through Zoom a virtual meeting space for community groups. Because we had a subscription, it didn't sort of end after 40 minutes. And so several groups used that. And then towards the end of the year, we were pleased to be able to start hosting meetings again. And I hear a lot of little comments from people about how much they appreciated our various services during the pandemic. But we were excited to get back in the library or beside the library, particularly our children's programs we wanted to bring back. We had outdoor story time. We also started a beginner French program because we had a co-op, French-speaking co-op student, and that was very popular. It started online, it shifted to in-person. And we did our summer program. It was mostly take-home crafts and one online workshop, but we were able to have one in-person outdoor workshop. And because a lot of the program is the prize draw, which is extremely popular, kids were able to come in and get books and put in their tickets and all that. So that was a happy thing. We were also pleased with so many things being cut off that we were able to partner with some of our groups. We started the Seed Library with Sustainable Miracle Wolford. That one got in just during that little open period in the early spring, and then we got shut down again, but we put it online, and that cart is on wheels. So we were able to take it outside and for people to pick out seeds. And we also were involved with the Eco Champions contest, which is an environmental contest being started locally. And we continue to work with Trails Group on Story Trail and their new Riverwalk Trail, which is right beside where the library is. So, and we would like to thank the Lions Club for donating for all of these projects. And while we're expressing appreciation, the province continues to fund internet, our interlibrary loan postage, and just the regular operating grant. We'd like to thank our donors. Our volunteers all came back after when we reopened, so we were excited about that. And someone donated a tiny door to us, which was very pleasing. And our friends of the library continue to do some fundraising during the year and to sponsor a lot of our services like Canopy and the DVD pool, online databases, children's programs, in spite of the fact that it wasn't a very good fundraising year for them. Behind the scenes, the library was upgraded our catalog and circulation system to a better one that's it's more high end, but it's part of a consortium, so it's more affordable. And the board was working on the exterior building work that needs to be done. We're trying to move ahead with that, and also looking into some sort of financial options and accessibility for 2022. And of course, last but not least, we would like to thank Montague Council for your continued support. We continue to try to provide the best service that we can to the Montague community on your behalf. And in addition to all our regular services, we were talking a bit with the Recreation Committee about maybe offering some program at Rosedale Hall. And that kind of got sidelined because things didn't improve as much as we'd hoped. But we're certainly interested in revisiting that in 2022 or going forward. And we're also excited that it looks like we'll be able to revive our relationship with the school. I'm going to be going to the kindergarten registration this week. We haven't been able to visit the schools all this year, but hopefully, next year we will be back with that. And we have our financial figures, which you've probably looked at in more detail. And that's pretty much all I had to say. It wasn't a great year, but you know, we're rebounding. And I just didn't know if you had any questions or anything you'd like to ask about.
Yes, thanks, Mary Kate. Yes, I'll open it up to council if they have any questions. I don't see any, but I just want to say, Mary Kate, that your outreach and your involvement with the community is and has been extremely successful over the years. And that's so obvious when we see your great report and the one that you gave tonight. You know, the results are there. We see it. And, you know, I mean, I can't imagine how many hundreds of people are involved in some way, big or small, in the Merrickville Library. So again,
Beautiful.
On behalf of us at council, thank you for everything. And I do notice that you make a point in several places also to thank all the volunteers that help you in the library. So we have to remember that too, because without them, it would make your job much more difficult. So thank you for the report. And with that, I have a motion here, which was moved by Councillor Straight and seconded by Deputy Vandermeer, that council receive the delegation from the Merrickville Library Board for information. All in favor? That's carried.
Well, thank you so much.
Mary Kate.
Yes. Bye now. Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Thank you. Moving on, we're going to the report of the municipal officers. We have a motion moved by Deputy Vandermeer, seconded by Councillor Carroll, that council approve the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting of April the 5th, 2022, and approve the recommendations contained within. All in favor? Thank you. Any business arising from those minutes? Seeing none. We have no petition. The bylaw we have moved by Councillor Carroll and seconded by Councillor Jennings, that bylaw 3900 2022 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a development agreement with John Leonard Gibson, the owners of property described municipally as 866 McPherson Road, be read a first, second, and third time and passed, signed and sealed this 19th day of April 2022. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. We have no motions and notice of motions. The correspondence, we don't have any correspondence move forward, I don't believe. And finally, we have a motion here, moved by Councillor Jennings, seconded by Councillor Straight, that bylaw 3901 2022 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its regular meeting held on April the 19th, 2022. Be read a first, second, and third time and passed, signed and sealed this 19th day of April 2022. All in favor? And that's carried. Before we adjourn, do we have any questions from the public? Christy?
I have no questions here on my end.
Okay. Then we have a motion moved by Councillor Straits, seconded by Deputy Vandermeer, that this meeting do now adjourn at 6:19 p.m. until May the 3rd, 2022 at 6 p.m. or until the call of the reeve, subject to need. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. So that brings the end of our meeting, and I don't think we need a break. We can go straight into our committee of the whole meeting, if that's okay with everybody. I'll just be one sec here.
That's another record timing for a meeting.
Okay, I'm going to go open this meeting. This is the committee of the whole meeting. It's also being live streamed electronically, April the 19th. So this meeting is now open, and I have a motion. It was moved by Councillor Carroll, seconded by Councillor Jennings, that the committee of the whole agenda dated April the 19th, 2022 be approved. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Again, I'll remind all of council that if you do have any disclosure of interest, you can declare it now or anytime during the meeting. We have no delegations tonight. We're going to go straight into the reports of the municipal officers. And the first of many are yours, Andrew, and that's on the 2022 donations.
Thank you. So yes, for this first report, it's for the 2022 community donations. Previous council meetings, we have seen the delegations of the groups that have made these requests, and the recommendation of this report is that council provide direction on the 2022 donation request applications. The second page of that report is a chart that shows the amount requested from each of the applications we received before the deadline. And the sum of those requests is $18,500. And the amount that we have in the budget for that is $12,500. So tonight I'm looking for council to prioritize and give direction on which, if any, requests they would like to approve, and what amount they would like that approved by.
Hey, thanks, Andrew. I'll open it up to council. Yes, Karen?
I guess is council looking to spend
Yes,
the
Karen?
12? Is council looking to spend the full 12.5 that's budgeted?
I think council has to look at each one individually, first of all, and make sure that we do want to make the donation. Claus?
Yeah, I think if we budgeted 12,005, then we should try and fit all these donations in to match that 12,005.
My only comment is that we as a council want to make sure that each one of those meets the mandate, meets the criteria. And just because there's an amount, I don't necessarily say that we have to keep it to that amount. I think we have to look at specifically each one individually and make sure that we want to. Yes, back to you, Klaus.
Yeah, thanks for that comment, Rita. My question is, has the staff qualified each one of these individual requests that they do meet the criteria?
Yeah, we did that at the time of receiving them.
Yeah.
And then scheduled the delegations so that they were presented to council as well. So at this point, as you go down the list, you could decide like to approve a request, like you said, the lesser amount than requested that meets within the budget.
Yes, Jeff.
All right, I mean, I'll start out with a couple and on my side. I think maybe to check them off to make sure that we're going that way. Big Brothers Big Sisters for me is one that we've always done in the past. We are a big supporter of it in our township too as well, and I'm in a strong favor of continuing that relationship. I see what they do, so that one and the Real too as well. We've supported them for a while, and I think that's one of the few things that we can at least say that we're doing to help in the on the climate change and the green sort of ideas that we're trying to support those two. So for me, right out of the gates, if we want to start the ball rolling, if there's any consensus there to kind of continue to agree with those two from council, and then maybe we can move on to the other ones.
So thanks, Jeff. I'll just make sure that we have consensus for those two. For those two, Big Brothers Big Sisters, and for Real. So I'll go around the table just to get consensus. Karen?
No, I want to do them as a package. I don't want to do individual.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it depends on council.
Mhm.
How does council feel? Do you want to do them individually? Jeff, you say you want to do them individually. Karen, you say you don't. So who, Ian?
It's gonna end up being a package anyway at the end of the day, right? That's like, is that we're gonna, you know, I have no problem with what Council Carroll just suggested with Big Brothers Big Sisters and the real for sure. And there's more obviously I'd like to add to that list, but I have no problem starting with that. And I also agree with Deputy Reed Vandermeer. We budgeted $12,000. That's what the budget was. These are all relatively good causes within our township that act within our township. And I think that with COVID and everything else, I think all these people are looking for donations at this point in time to help get through the tough times of the past couple of years.
So I've heard from all three, but not from you yet, Claus. So ask Claus, how do you feel about the first two that's been put on the table?
Yeah, thanks, Reeve. I do agree with Councillor Carroll that those two would be my priority. So I think we should vote on those two, and we eventually will be putting them together as a package.
Well, we've pretty well, with respect, Karen, we've pretty well got we've got consensus now. So I think those on the shelf for a minute. I don't necessarily think we have to vote on them individually yet, but we do have consensus for Big Brothers Big Sisters and the real, I believe. Yes, Jeff.
Oh, I guess my next point would be, and to go along with, there's an idea of trying to make sure that we spend that 12.5 that we've committed to donations. So I'll just throw it out there, maybe for discussion points. But that means if the other three which are all valid causes for sure, with adult learning, the family, children, and Montague, forget me not, if we can commit 3,000 to them and commit the 1,500 to the rural FSAD. Maybe Andrew can check my math on that, but I think that puts us at the 12.5 then at that point. And if that's the case, I think that would be a good way of maybe dividing it up appropriately and hopefully giving all those causes a bit of a start.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Jeff. Ian?
I kind of somewhat agree with Councillor Carroll, other than I like personally for myself, I'd like to give family, children, services and the Montague Forget Me Not Club $4,000 each, if that's possible. I think when they came into their presentations, the associates for the area children, and actually shows how many people they actually affect within our township and within our sphere. I think it's pretty important stuff.
So which two, Ian, are you talking about?
I would propose $4,000 for family and children's services and the Montague Forget Me Not Club.
Okay. So which leaves the fifth one is which one again? I don't have it on my phone because I'm dealing with the agenda on it. So the fifth one then is Claus?
The last one then that I would pick because that brings it for what Councillor Jennings or Councillor Straight said, that brings it to 10,000. So I would take the remainder to go toward the Adult Learning and Training Center, the additional 2,500 to cut that 5,000 in half.
Can we split? Can I suggest that we split that between the two of them, between the Adult Learning Center and FSAD?
Sorry, between who, Ian?
The balance between the Adult Learning Center, Adult Learning and Training Center, and the Rural FASD Support Network.
Yeah, sure. I'm fine with that.
I just want to. I'm not against anything that's been said so far. I just want to make sure that people understand that the last one there, Ian, that you mentioned, that they are also supporting. So that means that we are supporting many people outside of Montague Township. I did think that, I remember when they did their report, I think they said that there were two people, maybe did it, I think the report said that there were two people from Montague benefiting from that service, and the rest were from elsewhere. I'm just wanting to make that comment so that everybody knows that we're now getting into donating money to groups that are benefiting probably more people outside the township than inside. Just wanted to mention that.
We can adjust the amount if somebody wants to adjust the amount. That's.
You can sharpen up your pencils, everybody there. I'm just waiting on council to see how you feel. And the reason that I'm pointing that out, council, is that not that it will happen this year, but it will happen in the future. That we will have groups that may actually, have their meetings, say, inside Montague, but they will be representing people from not just Lanark County, not just Montague, and not just Lanark County, but even outside of Lanark County, the whole region. So we are setting a precedent.
Does anyone else have any other suggestions, I guess?
So where are we?
If someone wants to put a motion on, we have a motion on the floor that is that council provide direction on the 2022 donation request application. So I guess, we if we give consensus, then our staff will go ahead and deal with it. But we just need the consensus, I think. And if somebody wants to put a specific motion on the floor right now, I feel that we can do that also. So, yes, Karen.
I was trying to go back through my notes because I know they made reference to Smiths Falls and Perth, and that they were opening another program, hopefully in Carleton Place. I didn't find anything about the Montague. And I do remember them saying that they gave a $25 card to those that attended. Because it runs for, I forget how many weeks they said though. So I was wondering if we even looked at, because as you say, it's not really predominant in Montague yet. If we looked at, even if we dropped it down to 500 at $25 each shot. I mean, that's good for like 20 weeks. If it was just one attendee, and it'd be 10 weeks if it was two attendees from Montague. So it's entirely up to council.
Well, Ian, you're proposing $4,000, right?
No, I said $4,000 of family and children services. The Montague Forget Me Not Club, each one of those 4,000. That left us with 10,000 spent, which left us $2,500 of a balance to be split between the rural FASD support network and the Adult Learning and Training Center.
Okay, and just a question, and maybe this question is to you, Andrew. I do believe with the Montague seniors, was it 2,500? I think what we were trying to do was match the taxes, right? I think that's what council was trying to do the last time. We were trying to match whatever the taxes were.
Are you speaking about the Forget Me Not Club?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe when they were presenting, they were saying that it would cover the revenue shortfalls due to COVID and their help with their operational costs at this point.
Oh, yes.
Some of
Okay.
which is tax.
Yes, that's right. I understand. so for this year, we would be donating more because of COVID. Whereas the last few years, we've been donating to match the taxes, I believe. So this year, we would be proposing to donate more money because of the void in the events for COVID. I understand that. Jeff, and then Claus.
So I guess to maybe see if we get some
Don't feel
consensus, I
that
guess.
we have to rush. Yeah, don't feel that we have to rush this, because traditionally, and whether it be at the county or whether it be at our level, the discussions on donations seem to always consume the most time. Of almost anything that we ever put on the agenda, this consumes more time than anything. So don't feel we have to rush into this. I want this to be make sure that everybody feels comfortable. So sorry for interrupting there, Jeff.
Yeah, no, it's all good, Reef. I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, and it's why it's a good thing it's in committee right now too as well, because even if we come out of something with this, we can have some sober second thoughts too as well. But to move on with the point, I mean, to go along with where Councillor Straight was going with that money and then the leftovers, I mean, I'll throw the proposal out there for the FACD. I like the idea of the rural routes for sure. And then maybe that leftover, I say leftover, but the remaining $1,000 we could go to the Adult Learning and Training Center, and that would put us at the 12.5, and that would clear that up. So if there's, I mean, I'm comfortable with that. If there's a consensus there, and then yeah, then we can go on with that.
Okay, so then maybe Ian, can you just repeat that then one more time?
Yeah, just correct me if I'm wrong, Councillor Carroll, just what you stated there. We're going to give $4,000 to Family and Children's Services. We're going to give $4,000 to the Money Forget Me Not Club. We're going to donate $1,500 to the Rural FSAD Support Network, and the remaining $1,000 to Adult Learning and Training Center.
Yeah, because we already committed the other 2,000 to Big Brothers and Real.
That's right.
So that put us at the 12.5. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and Claus?
Thanks, Reeve. I thought, Ian, that there was going to be some money for the snowsuit fund for the Family Children Services.
There is. We're donating $4,000 to them.
Okay, that's the fourth. All right, sorry. Okay, the 2-4.
Yeah.
4,000 to the Montague and 4,000 there. Okay, the 5,000 is being pared down to 1,000 or 1250.
Rural FSD is going to get 1,500, and the 5,000 for the Adult Learning Center is going to be 1,000.
Okay. All right, I got that. That makes an even.
Okay, so I'm just going to go around and get consensus first, and then I'll read our motion. So the consensus that you've proposed there, everybody, I'll go around the table. Karen?
Yep.
Claus?
Yes.
Ian?
Yes.
And Jeff?
Yeah.
And myself, so that's the consensus, and we have a motion was moved by Councillor Jennings and seconded by Councillor Straight, that the committee of the whole receive the following report, the 2022 donations, and that the following be recommended to council, that council provide direction on the 2022 donation request applications. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. And just one other comment that this is just a general comment, because sometimes I have heard this at our own municipal meetings, and also I hear it at county sometimes, that people kind of worry about double dipping. And if we donate here, or if we donate at the county, why should we donate here? I'm just saying that we do that, and I think everybody does that, and I think that we have to kind of treat each request individually. And, some need more, or some is more legitimate than others. But I just wanted to mention that because, when it comes to big brothers, big sisters, or, family services or whatever, some groups definitely get money through the county council also. So we do it ourselves. We do allow double dipping, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying that I think each council should have the right to do whatever they wish, and that's great. So I'm very happy with this. I think we've got some pretty legitimate organizations working in our community, and it all makes it better. So thanks, council, for that, and we'll then move on if that's okay. The next then is yours also, Andrew, and that's on the junior planning position.
Thank you. So at the last meeting, we had a report that looked at the possibility of an intern planning position, and with direction from council, we've come back with a job description for a junior planner, and that was applied to our pay scale evaluator. Came up with a range there as well, which was $25.54 to $26.13 an hour as a rate, and provided that for council to look at this evening. And the job description was an attachment to this report. And three options here. One would be to direct staff to offer and advertise a junior planner position for 1 7-hour workday a week, which is what was presented in the previous report. Or option two, to direct staff to offer and advertise a junior planner position for a specified number of hours greater than a 1 7-hour workday a week. Or option three is to not offer a junior planning position advertised at this time. So I've got that here for council to look at this evening and decide if they would like to possibly move forward with that in adding to our planning services, or to possibly choose option three and leave this to, for a later date.
Okay, thanks, Andrew. Karen, please.
Given our recent news, I think I'd like to hold off and not do any advertising just yet, and bring that back later once our new CA starts, so that we've had time to look at a global picture.
Anyone else? Jeff?
I agree with Karen, sorry, Councilor Jennings on that too as well. I think just it might be good just to have this discussion in a couple of weeks too as well.
Okay, anything else? Okay, then I have a motion I'm going to read, and I happen to also agree 110% in that decision. This motion was moved by Councillor Straight, seconded by Deputy Reeve Vandermeer, that the Committee of the Whole receive this report, the junior planner position, and that the following be recommended to Council, that Council directs staff to immediately post the position through regular channels and on the AMCO job board, and that Council nominate 1 or 2 individuals to serve on the junior planner hiring panel. All in favor? Opposed? And that's defeated. Yes, Councillor. Yes, Councillor Carroll.
Sorry, I guess were we trying to defeat it, or were we just trying to defer it? To bring it back? If we're defeating it, I mean,
well, I think this motion as it reads, we're defeating it. It doesn't mean to say that we won't bring it back.
Okay.
But this motion is basically saying that to immediately post the position.
Okay, sounds good.
So I feel that this motion as it reads, I feel we're defeating it. Doesn't mean to say that we can't bring all of this back.
Okay.
Yes, Claus.
Thanks, Reed. Just a question on that basis. Are we allowed to make a motion that staff would bring this back at a future date?
I think you're allowed to make that motion for sure, but I'm pretty sure that that's very, very obvious that that's what's going to happen.
Okay. As long as we know it's not going to get forgotten.
Won't get forgotten. It's, yeah, no.
I don't think any one of us is going to let it get forgotten.
Okay. I'm happy.
Okay,
then.
so then, okay, thank you then. So this motion is defeated, and if there's no other motion, then we'll go on. The next one is also yours, Andrew, on PSAP reconciliation.
Thank you. This is something we do in coordination with our budgeting each year. So we bring a report that looks to Ontario Regulation 284-09, reporting requirements. And we use the Public Sector Accounting Board requirement here to show the effects of accounting for non-financial assets such as TCAs. And essentially, if you look at the report, it will say the township's 2022 budget excludes amortization expenses 704,616. And had these expenses been included, it would have resulted in a decrease of 704,616 in the accumulated surplus in the 2022 budget. Does, however, include tangible capital asset acquisitions of 2,278,000. So by having this with the attached Schedule A, then we meet the requirements of OREG 28409. And then that's kind of like the tail end of our budgeting that satisfies that.
Okay, any questions? Seeing none, I have a motion moved by Deputy Vandermeer, second by Councillor Carroll, that the Committee of the Whole receive the PSAB reconciliation report and that the following be recommended to Council, that Council adopt the report for expenses excluded from the 2022 budget outlined in this report as a requirement of Ontario Regulation 284/09. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And the next one also yours, Andrew, that's the budget to actual.
Thank you. As I've noted here, we passed our 2022 budget at the April 5th meeting of council, and which provides the resources for staff to provide the established levels of service consistent with previous years in the township and what it needs to operate throughout 2022. So I've attached now the statements of operations to March 31st, 2022 for the first quarter. And so the council has that available. And at this time, basically, in looking at that, we see things operating as we would expect. I don't believe there's anything there at the moment that's of a material nature that I needed to point out, and the reports are there if there were questions or if there's anything that council would like us to look into or provide more information on, either now or at a future date.
Karen?
Question, Andrew, on the admin miscellaneous revenue, the 193, 250, we've almost reached our annual budget. What is that line?
193.
250.
Yeah, so that was the last year of the transfer between departments for the SCBA's.
Oh,
So
that's
when
what the miscellaneous revenue is?
Yeah, each year when it comes over, that's where we are posting that, and it shows it coming in as revenue. So
Okay.
You're right that it would hit budget, and then you won't see that transfer again. So it will, year end will be basically the same balance.
One other question.
Mhm.
Under admin again, under the 193 expenses, 210, 7236, the contracted services. 7,500 was our budget, but we've already hit 33,453. What goes in that line?
Mhm. So the timing of our invoicing for our feasibility study is in 2022 partially, and as we're going through the year-end audit, the auditors were asking me to keep those invoices there because of the date of the invoices. So they're showing there at the moment.
So the feasibility study is under admin.
Under contracted services, yeah.
Okay.
And then the other point there would be that once, as we wrap up that feasibility study, we're going to be applying to receive the 25,000 towards that as well. That was part of the Green Municipal Fund grant.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Karen. So I don't see any other questions. So again, Andrew, thanks for this report. And also, again, a big thank you for the way that you handled all our budget deliberations. It seemed pretty flawless and pretty easy. And I'm very impressed with that. You can answer the questions very clearly and precisely. And I just want to thank you for all of that.
Oh, you're welcome. I think it's a good process overall between council and staff, and it functions well to keep the township on budget.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, then I have a motion here was moved by Councillor Carroll and second by Councillor Jennings that the Committee of the Whole receive the following report. That being the budget to actual to March the 31st, 2022, and that the following be recommended to council that we receive this report for information. All in favor? Thank you. And on back to you again, Andrew. That's on the first quarter report for the staff overtime.
Yeah, so looking at this report for the first quarter report on staff overtime, we present this report quarterly to council for information, and the table shows the overtime amounts in the first quarter for 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. Overtime is a little higher than the previous year, but very close to being on average over those 3 years. And we're also, if you look at that, you can see some of the effects of the weather in the public works, and in administration, you can see that some of the, there's overlap with staff in cross delegating to make up for that we're down one person temporarily to cover off the tasks and services that we've been doing in the first quarter.
Any questions? Okay, I have a motion moved by Councillor Jennings, second by Councillor Straight. The Committee of the Whole received the first quarter report, staff overtime report, and that the following be recommended to council that we receive this, the above report noted for information. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Andrew, and then moving on to the first report of public works activities, and that's on to you, Steve. Welcome, Steve.
Thanks,
And
Reeve.
I'll hand this part of the meeting over to you.
Perfect. Just my first quarter report on the activities Public Works has been completing. I think one of the major things Public Works has been working on is Pinery Road, and if any of the council members have had a chance to take a tour out there, sight lines and visibility have increased majorly along that section of road, and staff has got a lot of compliments from residents on that area. And then one other thing was the tree audit that we did we completed that one day, and there's obviously numerous trees that were over 250 trees that we've noted already. So that's going to be something that will consume a pile of Public Works time in future time, but the rest is there for information, and thank you very much.
Any questions? I wonder if there's how many of the trees of those 250 trees came down in the windstorm the other day?
Not enough.
Yeah. I just have one question, just as general question for you, Steve.
Yes.
At what point do we do our street sweeping?
So we're completing that early, hopefully by early May. We have our contract out there. Our neighboring municipality who usually does our street sweeping has stated they're no longer able to. So we've got RFQ out for that, and we have purchased a street sweeper for our backhoe as well, as part of the budget process. So we'll complete some of that ourselves. But as you saw this morning, it's important not to street sweep too soon, because you never know when snow is going to fly again. So in due time, for sure.
Yeah, and so will we have our sweeper in place to do the job this year?
Absolutely. It will not do every street in a municipality. It is not designed for that, but it will complete a lot of the intersections. Some of our shorter roadways we can absolutely do, but the built up areas, we will have that contracted out still.
Yeah, and I guess another question, what do we do with the material that comes off the edges of the roads?
At this time, when it's done by a vacuum sweeper, we can take the material at the rear of the building at the municipal complex at this time. And then obviously when we're using our new street sweeper, it's just going to be going in the shoulder of the roadway.
Good, because that's what I was going to say, was hoping to hear, like that we can reuse it on the edges of the road. And specifically, I'll ask about the roads. Like, I'm not sure how many paved roads that we did with the material, like where we have to sweep. But I know that we do the built up areas in town. And what about, I guess specifically, I'm wondering, and the reason I ask is because I've been noticing on Matheson Road where people are really using the extended pavement there. They really use it, but they're like, some of them, they push their baby carriages or they walk or whatever through a lot of that material in that outside 3 feet. Like, is that road being done or not, or what?
Yeah, it's absolutely being done. And the sweeper that we have, similar to the county, is able to do all that ourselves. So that will create a savings for us as well.
So, and sorry to take up this time, but I just thought about all of this. Will the machine just sweep that material off the edge of the road that we can still use it on the edge of the road?
That's right. As contained as you can keep it to the front of the machine, it'll keep it there. Obviously, some stuff is going to fling a little farther into the ditch line, but it does have a guard that will keep it to the right-hand side.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion here. It was moved by Councillor Straight and seconded by Deputy Vandermeer that the Committee of the Whole receive the first quarter report, Public Works Activities report, and that the following be recommended to Council, that Council receive the above noted reports for information. All in favor? Thanks. And the next one is also yours, Steve, on the first quarter report. Sorry, it's not. That the next one is from the Municipal Law Enforcement Officer. We have then the Chief Building Official, the first quarter report on planning, and the first quarter report on the water operator. So do we have any of those people with us tonight? No? Okay, so then I'm going to go through them one at a time and we'll vote on them. The first one was moved by Deputy Vandermeer, second by Councillor Carroll, that the Committee of the Whole receive the first quarter report of the MLEO and that the following be recommended to Council, that Council receive the above noted report for information. All in favor? Sorry, I should ask, any questions first? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you there. And the next one, moved by Councillor Carroll, second by Councillor Jennings, that the Committee of the Whole receive the following report, the first quarter report building, and that the following be recommended to Council, that Council receive the above noted report for information. Any questions? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Next, moved by Councillor Jennings, second by Councillor Straight. The Committee of the Whole receive the first quarter report on planning, and that the following be recommended to council, that council receive the above noted reports for information. No questions? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. The last report moved by Councillor Straight and seconded by Deputy Vandermeer, that the Committee of the Whole receive the following report, the first quarter report on water, and that the following be recommended to council, that council receive the above noted reports for information. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And before we adjourn, do we have any questions from the public?
I'm just checking, hold on. I have no questions here on my end.
Thanks, Christy. Okay, then we have a motion moved by Deputy Vandermeer, seconded by Councillor Carroll, that the Committee of the Whole meeting do now adjourn at, oh, sorry, what's the time, please?
7:01.
7:01. Thanks, Bud. All in favor? And that is carried, and that brings us to the end of our meeting. So this meeting is over. We've adjourned it. So thank you, everybody.